You action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Leader Class Optimus Prime figure from Hasbro. Now, if you caught my Warpath review yesterday, then you heard me gushing about the packaging art in this line. And in fact, with all the War for Cybertron figures, I think Hasbro's done a great job. And this Optimus Prime packaging is no different. I love the look, the drawing of Optimus here in both his robot and his truck mode. And then again, you have the volcano in the background with the lava coming down. The colors really pop, the arc up at the top of the mountaintop. And on the very top of the packaging, again, because like with Warpath, you've got the G1 Autobot with Prime here, so you get the Autobot symbol. And on the side of the packaging, you've just got that standard artwork that is featured on all the boxes in this line. And then on the back of the package, you've got to look at the figure and both his modes as well as his trailer and some other features that are included with this one. Along with the figure, each of these Kingdom figures has a trading/sticker card in it. Now, I talked about these in detail in the Warpath review yesterday. So again, if you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend you do. But there's 4 different ones in the first wave. They're randomly inserted in all the figures in the wave except for the small core figures. And you can see here we've got the Predacon, it's a Predacon card with Dinobot, and it kind of transforms because again, this is a sticker sheet, so you can pull it off and use it as just a sticker, and then you've got the image underneath. So, and again, there's 4 of these, 4 different cards in the first wave. You also, of course, get the instruction sheet to show you how to transform him from robot to vehicle mode. Now, for accessories with this figure, you get his trailer, and we're going to take a more detailed look at that, so I'm going to set that aside for now. But besides the trailer, you also get his signature rifle, which is nicely detailed. We've seen this before, obviously with every Optimus Prime, practically every Optimus Prime figure. It's black. Now the handle is done with a light gray. I don't know why the handles are done with light gray colors. There's also a peg on the side, and that's so you can store it on the figure's back. When if you don't want him holding it, there's a hole in his back, so you can plug it in with the handle, but it's really meant to be use this peg on the side, so it just plugs in there. And there's also places where you can store the rifle when he's in his truck mode, which I'll show you once we actually transform him. But overall, that looks pretty good. And then besides the blaster, of course, it wouldn't really be Optimus Prime if he didn't have the Matrix of Leadership. So you can pop open his chest, and it's featured inside there, and it is removable. It is a separate piece, so you have to kind of pry it out with your fingers. And overall, I think they've done a pretty good job with the sculpting on the Matrix. You've got the metallic silver for the handle, and you've got some metallic type gold on the outer piece there. And then you've got some translucent plastic, blue translucent plastic for the energy effect piece in the middle. Now, it doesn't open or anything. It is just a one-piece thing. And then on the back side, that middle blue piece is actually hollowed out. And while we have the chest open, let's take a look inside there. And it actually has some nice sculpting detail. Again, you've got a metallic silver in the inner workings there, but you've got some nice little sculpting detail, which I think is a nice added touch. And then the Matrix, it just pops in there, and there's no extra pieces or anything, but it does stay in there securely. So once you pop it in there, you don't have to worry about it falling out or anything. In fact, it can be sometimes a little bit of a pain to actually pry the Matrix out of there with your fingers, so you may want to just use like tweezers or something to get it out more easily. Now with the figure itself, I think they've done a great job capturing the overall look of Optimus Prime. They've done Optimus many times, so they definitely should be an expert at it. But with the head sculpt, it looks very G1-like. You've got the metallic blue for the helmet portion. Even you've got the little vents sculpted there on the side with his ears. So I like that detailing. And he's got the silver faceplate and the little silver on his forehead, again with some vents sculpted in there. So all that's really nicely detailed. And then he has, his windshield there on his front chest, which is, you've got the outer clear translucent plastic, and then there's blue underneath there, so you can't actually see inside, but I think that's cartoon accurate. And you've even got like his windshield wiper sculpted on there. He's got his Autobot symbol that's on his left shoulder. He's got the smokestacks on his arms, upper arms, which again is in keeping with the original G1. They are short, of course, which is pretty typical with Prime figures today. And he's got the silver striping that goes down his lower arms. All that looks really good. He's got his, his vent, his grill on the front there with the silver. That's supposed to be part of the grill of his truck. And then he's got the yellow at his waist section. Again, very cartoon accurate. You've got the gray vents on his lower legs. Also, you've got the kind of silver on his feet, his wheels. He's got his gas tanks on the side of his legs. Now, the back of the figure isn't really what I would say cartoon accurate. I can't remember if, in the new cartoon, the new Netflix series, if this is how he looks, but this isn't obviously how he looked in the original G1 cartoon. But I think it's a good use of the wheels and everything. His front wheels are tucked in the back there. So, I think it looks good. It doesn't stick out or anything. So, and again, I'd have to go back and look at the new Netflix series to see if that's how it looks. It probably is. That is probably how they're drawing him now. So, but either way, it doesn't bother me. So Prime in his robot mode, if you count to the tops of his ears, stands just under 7 inches tall. For a few comparisons, here is a look at the Optimus Primal, his Beast Wars counterpart that is also being released in this first Kingdom wave. And I will be reviewing this figure in the near future. But you can see Optimus Prime is taller than Optimus Primal, which I do think is accurate. Here's a look at the Legends Warpath figure from the Kingdom line that I reviewed yesterday. And Prime, as he should be, is taller. Here's a look at a recently released Megatron figure, and these two are about the same height. Here's a comparison of a recent Starscream figure, and Prime is a little bit taller, so I think the scale between these two, again, is pretty good. Now here's a comparison of the Beast Wars Megatron figure, which is the other leader class figure being released in this first wave of Kingdom figures, and you can see Megatron is quite a bit taller than Optimus Prime, and honestly, because I don't think I've ever seen these two characters together before, I'm not sure if that's accurate scaling or not, but Megatron is definitely bigger than Prime. And then for one final comparison, here's a look at Mini Prime, which is one of the core figures also being released in this first Kingdom wave. So for articulation on Prime, you can turn the head all the way around, and he can look down a little bit into his body, and then he can look up in the air, which I like, so he's got good back movement, and you get a little bit of head pivot, but not too much with this one. Now with the arms, you can get the arm out all the way. That's about as far up, but you can get it straight out, and then you've got rotation there. You can rotate the arm all the way around. You don't have like butterfly joints, but as part of the transformation, you can do the arm back, but you can't do it forward. You then have what I would say a bicep or elbow swivel, so you can rotate the mid arm there, and then he can bend his arm, about that much, and then you also get rotation with the hands. And you get the finger articulation as well, so that he can grip stuff. All the fingers move as one piece, but you do have that. And then he has here at the waist, he can rotate. That's limited some because of this back piece, so you can't rotate all the way around, but you can, rotate a bit there to the left and the right. And then he doesn't have an ab crunch, but he can bend forward there at the waist. And this piece will pop up as part of the transformation if you pull on it, but he can look back about that much at the waist as well. Now with the legs, you can do the splits really good, and he can get his leg forward really nice. The back, again, because of this back piece with the wheels, limits some of the back movement, but overall pretty good movement there. And then you have an upper thigh swivel, so you can rotate the leg. You've got good bending at the knee, and then with the feet, you can rotate, you can kind of pivot inward, which is really more part of the transformation than actual articulation. And then same thing with the toes, you've got a little bit of toe articulation, so you can do the toe down. Before we transform Prime into his truck mode, let's take a look at his trailer. So like Mini Prime toys before this one, including the original G1 toy, the trailer does open up and becomes like a medical bay / mechanical bay. Very similar looking to the original G1 trailer. So you get that robot apparatus thing on the back of it, which on this version, it's not blue, it's gray. And you do get the arms, which have some articulation, no elbow joints, but you can do them out and you can rotate these around. and you've got these holes. There's no missiles or anything, but you do have the holes there. And this entire piece actually is removable on the trailer, and there's actually a place that you can attach it to Prime in his robot mode, which I'll show you in a minute. But it kind of acts as a backpack, which I think looks kind of silly, but you know, it's kind of an added play feature. You've got the front door here, and this is another thing where this piece actually slides out, and this is supposed to be, you know, you can plug it into Prime's arm, so it's like a shield. Again, I think it looks kind of silly, but that is another feature that they've included here, and that just slides into place. And then there's a place, you know, you can sit it on the ground or you can lift it up, and there's actually a place, there's this little peg that you can plug in, so you can lay Prime there and plug it into the hole in his back so he doesn't like move around or anything. And on the bottom side, you've got these legs that you can pull out so that when you have it open, you know, it's not at a tilt or anything. So again, very similar. Really, the only thing missing here is they did not include a roller, but the other things that you generally see with Prime's trailer have essentially been included here. And then here's a look at Prime with the trailer piece attached to his back, along with that shield attached to his arm. So you can put it on either arm. He's got the holes here, and then for this back piece, it just plugs into the hole. There's the little peg, and you just plug it into the back of Prime if you want. And just to show you real quick, you can take Prime, and again, you can just plug it into the bay. So, you know, if you're lying him down like that, you don't really need to plug him in. But if you want to stand him up, he won't actually fall out if you plug him in correctly. And transforming this back into a trailer is pretty straightforward. You just pop the little robot guy down, and he folds into place like so. And then you just pull these two pieces up, and they snap into place. And then you can close the door, or of course you can leave the door open, and you can put things, you can put small vehicles in there and stuff, and they can roll down. Again, this is just like we've seen with every other Prime trailer. And then the trailer itself, you've got some nice sculpting detail on the outside. You've got that little circle, which is, you know, you always see on Prime's trailer. You've got the blue striping with the Autobot symbol, which all look good. And you have that on both sides. Okay, so transforming Prime from his truck mode or his robot mode to his truck mode is fairly straightforward, especially for a leader class type transformer. So first thing I would recommend you do is you take these flaps on the side of his arms and you just open them up, and then you can just tuck the hands inside so that they disappear. Make sure you do it on both sides, of course. So do that. And then you can take, you want to flip them around and take these wheel pieces and just open them up, and then you can flip that down. Now I just popped it off, but if you do that, you can just pop it back on. It just snaps right back into place. But once you flip this down, then you should be able to rotate the upper body all the way around like so he's essentially facing backwards. Then you can pop this back piece here, and then you can just tuck the head inside as so, and you also can go on and pop this up. So you may want to pop that one up before you try and tuck the head in. But once you tuck the head in, then you can snap this back into place. This is going to be the top of the truck here. And then you take this piece here and you want to flip it open. And then you want to take this piece and flip it down. And then you've got these two pieces here that you want to make sure that you open up. And you got to make sure you remember to open up both these flaps, or things won't fit into place. Then you also have these waist pieces that you want to pull back, and you got to be careful, because once you pull these back and you start fooling around, they'll have a tendency to kind of go back forward, and if they do, then that'll keep things from locking into place. So just make sure those pieces do stay in the back position. Now once you've done that, if you can go on and just pop this down, and then you should be able to bring this forward. You want to make sure this snaps into place. This is the front of the truck. This is going to be the front. And you got to kind of rotate the arms out of the way. Eventually we're going to tuck them underneath. But if you've done everything right, that should just snap into place. And again, it's forming the front of the truck. So now we can take the arms and we can kind of do them around. This again is very similar to how the original G1 toy worked, where the arms just kind of tuck underneath. And then you can close these pieces, and if everything is done right, then they should just snap into place. So do it on this side as well. Tuck it underneath so it goes inside. Close that piece and close that piece. Now we've got the front of the truck, and all that's really left is just the leg pieces. So you want to come back here to the feet and just close those. And then you just take the legs and you just snap them together. You also, these gas tank pieces will pull out. That's not a big deal if you didn't do that, but technically that's, you know, so his gas tanks are sticking out. Again, just popped it off, but you can just pop it back into place. And then all you want to do is just basically pull the truck piece forward, and everything should just snap right into place. And there you go. Now you have Optimus Prime in his truck mode. Now once you have him in his truck mode, you can take his rifle if you want to. If you want to store it on Optimus himself, then what you want to do is just close up the barrel like so, and then you want to take the actual handle portion of the gun and plug it into this hole back here. So that is one place you can store the gun in his truck mode. And then if you don't like it there or what have you, you can also take his trailer, and you can basically plug it in with the side peg, and it just plugs in and tucks in underneath there. To connect the trailer, all you got to do is you want to make sure that you push up these little leg pieces, and then you've got the peg there at the end, and you just plug it into the hole back here, and now he's ready to go trucking. Just to note, when you do have the trailer plugged in, the trailer doesn't really turn with the truck, so you can, I mean, if you want, you can set it kind of in a turn position, but the trailer itself really does not turn with the truck. So like if you were making a sharp turn or anything, the trailer would stay straight. Not any kind of big deal, but just wanted to notate that. And some of the other Optimus Primes, you know, the trailer will actually kind of rotate around like a real truck trailer would, but not with this one, with the way the hole is kind of sculpted down on the legs, so it does prevent the trailer from turning. Now in his truck mode, he looks pretty good. One thing, these gas tanks, they have a tendency to kind of push inward. They're supposed to be outward when he's in his truck mode. Again, it really doesn't matter, but technically they're supposed to be out like that. But when you start fooling around with the truck, it's very easy to push them back in. But overall, you know, I think it looks pretty good. There's not a lot of kibble showing in his truck mode, so I think they've done a good job with that. You know, it looks good from the bottom. He rolls nicely, so you know, overall, I mean, again, they've done Optimus so many times, so they should be an expert at this one. But definitely, you know, it looks like with the red and the blue and everything, it looks like Optimus Prime. And real quick, while we got his trailer, I just wanted to show you. I've mentioned this before, but show it to you where you can pop this down, and then if you've got something smaller, you know, it is pretty small. This trailer is pretty small, so it would have to be a small figure. But you can see here, like the Rat Trap figure, which is another Beast War figure from the first wave, he fits in there nice. And of course you can tuck him in there, push him in there, and then close him up if you want to, so that Prime can transport him around. Now in his truck mode, Prime is about, the truck itself is just over 5 inches, and then with the trailer attached, he extends about 9, just a little bit over 9 inches, about 9 1/4. And then height wise, his trailer is about 4 inches in height. And with the trailer attached, it also rolls pretty good. The wheels are just a hard rubber material, but he does roll nicely. Okay, that's my review. So overall, I really like this version of Optimus Prime. Now, I don't have all the various Optimuses that Hasbro's done over the years, so I can't necessarily say this is the best one to date. But there's nothing I really dislike about this one. It's easy to transform. It seems to have all the features that you would come to expect from an Optimus, including things like the Matrix of Leadership. It is missing roller. That's probably the one thing I would say it's missing. But still, overall, I think they've done a nice job with this one. It seems to scale well with the other Kingdom figures. And like, if you want another Optimus to your collection, if you don't have enough Optimuses yet, then this is one I would say is worth checking out. Now this figure, along with the rest of the first Kingdom wave, should start hitting everywhere within about 5 to 6 weeks, at least according to Hasbro. You know, they might start trickling out slowly a little bit sooner than that, but really at the point where you can just walk into any store and find these, I would say it's going to be about 5 to 6 weeks. We'll have a full image gallery up at Toy News International. There will be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. As always, stay safe out there, guys. And until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.